as a pre-breakfast meditation. Good morning to you. And anybody that's doing this at lunchtime, happy lunch. And anybody that's doing this in the evening, I hope and I think you'll find it relaxing. And particularly at this time of night when we want to start winding down. So the session will be structured as normal in two parts. The first part, I want to speak about something that I think is important. It's a learning point. Because what we need to do in these times is not just get through this period, but imagine if we could actually grow through this period. Imagine if in the middle of all this adversity, in the middle of all of this unknown, imagine if we could actually grow. We could change our thinking. We could change something about us that would enable us to be different when this is over, because it will end. So I think even to stop thinking about when will I get back to the old me, when will the country get back to its old self. I just want to remind you that the old self got sick. And what from the past do we actually really want to go back to? Certainly there's lots in what your life looked like before this that you will immediately want to go back to. Sharing friends, spending time with loved ones, meeting up, lots of great stuff that we want to go back to. But maybe there's some stuff from the way we lived before this that now is actually a great chance to look at and examine and really ask, what parts of my life and what parts of me do I want to take forward? And what parts of my life and what parts of me is a time maybe to let go and release? So what I know from my own self and what I know from people I've been chatting to the week is there's a wave of emotion happening all the time. And it's a wave of deep emotions and a wave of different emotions. We all started at this journey a few weeks ago, all similar in the same emotion, which was fear. But as with each week, as different realities appears, for some people that has changed. Fear has turned to bereavement. Fear has turned into anger. Fear has turned into frustration. For some, fear has turned into a deep sense of sadness and they don't know why. For some, shame is coming up and we don't know why. All emotions are perfectly okay and all emotions are right. It's what we do with that emotion that makes the difference. So in the last few weeks, different realities have been happening for people. Some have been separated from loved ones. Some have had to lose their job. Some have had to spend time in a close environment in a way that we haven't done before. And when we're challenged not only to think different, but to be different, something amazing happens. What it does, it connects us with our inner self. The last few weeks for me have almost been like an onion. And as the external stuff that used to distract us so much, the coffee shops, the work, the gyms, all of the stuff that has been taken away, it's almost like a layer of the self, a layer of our life has been taken away. And with each layer that is taken away, we get closer and closer and closer to the core. And with each layer that gets taken away, we lose a protective mask. And whether that's our job, or our social scene, or the people we distract ourselves with each layer of our life that has been stripped away from us, a protective mask or a protective role has been taken away. And that can be alarming, that can be terrifying for people. Because as each layer is taken away, we all start to ask ourselves the same question. If I lose my job, if I'm not as good as a mum as I thought I was, if I'm not as good as a dad as I thought I was, if I'm not as good as a wife or husband as I thought I was, then who am I? What am I? And as each layer, as each protective mask gets taken away, the biggest fear that we have is, who will I be when all of this is taken away? And will I be enough? Will I be good enough? And when our future sometimes is uncertain and unknown, we have to ask ourselves, well, what is the known? What is the known that I can take with me into the future? When this is over and I get a chance to rebuild my business, rebuild my job, rebuild the different things, what will be the one thing that I will be certain of? Or what will be the light in that darkness? And what I know from my own journey is, when we can allow all of those external protective layers to be stripped away, and we find that it's actually ourself that's the known. It's ourself that's the light. When you discover and give yourself permission to light your inner light, then you don't mind what darkness lies in front of you, because your light, which is connected to the divine light, will light any path. Tonight I ask people to have a candle, and later I want you to light a candle. Tonight, this session, this meditation is about allowing you, when all of the protective external layers are being stripped away, to realize that it was never those things that made you special, that made you loved, that made you important. It was never those things that were important. It was you. It was your light. You might have thought it was your job. You might have thought it was the things you did for your family. You might have thought it was the followers you had on Facebook or Instagram. You might have thought it was those things that made you important. It wasn't. It was you. But can you see that person? And can you love that person? When we begin our meditation in a few moments, that's what I'm going to be taking us through. Can you dare to light your light brighter than you've ever lit it before? In times of darkness, can you be the light that lights your path? And your light are your dreams, your ambitions, your values. It's your inner divine spark of light. And that alone will be enough, whatever is to come. So I want us to start to just slow things down and to breathe. And if you could see yourself through the eyes of the people who love you, what would you worry less about? If you knew that no matter what job you had, no matter what you earned, you were infinitely loved by the people that matter, what would that do for you? I spent most of my life trying to fill a hole and fill a void where I thought I was no good. I thought I had no value. I thought that I had let my father down and that I was not the son that he wanted me to be. Every single thing that I thought would make me a good son was the things that I couldn't do and I wasn't good at. And every time I spent with my dad, I thought that I was failing him. And I desperately clinged, trying to do the stuff that I thought would make him love me. That's an exhausting process. And I got to a stage where I couldn't outrun all this anymore, so I simply had to do the scariest thing I've ever done. I had to ask my dad if he loved me. I had to ask my dad if he thought I was enough. And I'll never forget, at the age of 33, when I asked my dad, I will never forget his response. He simply said, "Of course I love you. And how could you think I didn't?" And what I realized was I had built up stories in my own mind all my own life. Because I couldn't love myself, I couldn't see how my dad could love me. But that wasn't a full story. Then my dad got upset. And he said, "I need to ask you a question." He said, "Are you proud of me?" And of course, my dad, to this day, is still my hero. I said, of course I'm proud of you. Well, how could you even ask me that? He said, because the things you are good at, the things you love, I'm not good at those. I can't help you with those things. And I have always felt I have let you down as a father. I spent so long trying to do the things, trying to be the person that I thought was lovable. And when it came to it, I had to understand that just by being me made me lovable. So the meditation tonight is all about how brightly are you willing to shine your light? Who are the people that you know will love you no matter what? And who are the people in your life right now who might be worrying about what the future holds, who might be worrying about what if I lose my job, and the shame or the fear that that's bringing, am I letting my family down? And maybe tonight, or maybe this week, you will say to that person, no matter what happens, no matter what you do, I will love you with all my heart, all my life. And that singly is the most freeing thing that we can give anybody. Tell them the truth. I love you for who you are, not what you do. Whatever job, whatever business, whatever future we have together, as long as it's together, it's enough. And when you have truth and love together, you have peace. I want to start a meditation of peace. I want you to realize your truth, that you are a divine spark of light with infinite potential, who is deeply loved and has something incredible to offer this universe. This universe is crying out right now for you to shine your light in a way that you've never done before. To stop bowing to fear, stop bowing to judgment, stop saying you're not enough. And when you become enough in your heart, when you fight and find your inner light, then no matter what darkness lies ahead, you have something that will illuminate it. So at this moment, I'd like you, if you have, to take your candle and if there's people together, maybe light the candle together, or if you've one each. I know we have some mums and daughters, we have some sons and fathers, we have brothers and sisters. I want each of you to light your candle as a commitment that the time has come for you to stop playing small. That inside of you is something amazing. And if people can't see the magic and the light of your soul, if people are willing to judge you by the work you do, or what you earn, or the house you live in, if that's what they see and not the light in your soul, then they don't belong in your life. When we choose to be judged by the quality of our heart and the light of our soul, everything else becomes slightly less important. So lighting your light and placing it in front of you, and as we slowly close our eyes down, or maybe you want to just bring your gaze to the candle and just watch the flicker, watch the light, and see that light as a small symbol of the light that's in your heart, that small flicker, that little spark that is asking to be given permission to become a flame. What is your heart asking you to be right now in this moment? not tomorrow, not yesterday, not next week. What is your heart asking you to say right now? Who is your heart asking you to say, I love you, I forgive you? And as we breathe into our heart, we place our right hand on our heart and we close our eyes down, or we look at the flame and we start to breathe slowly. And we breathe into this incredible heart that has beaten for you since the moment you were conceived. The first time an electrical frequency appears in the human body, in the fertilized cell, is in the heart. And every day of your life, your heart has said, one more day, let's go. And can we breathe into this big, strong heart as we close our eyes and surrender our brain, and we come out of our brain and into our heart, and we open up our chest and open up our heart, and we realize that we are full of infinite love, of infinite forgiveness. We are full of the divine. And as we start to become aware of our heartbeat right here, right now, in this moment, and we start to let memories and pictures of the people we love and the hugs that we hold dear, we breathe in love. Fear is a construct of the brain, but love is a construct of the heart. And fear cannot exist where love abounds. And we fill our heart with love. And I'm asking, can we love ourselves more deeply? Can we forgive ourselves for the people that we were, for the things that we didn't do, for the failings that we perceived to have? And can we let it go? And can we say, I love you, I forgive you? Can you repeat to yourself, I release myself from all judgments. I release myself from all that I was. I release myself from all that I thought I was meant to be. I release myself from fear. Please repeat after me. I am love. I am loving. I am deeply loved. I am deeply loving. I am peaceful. I am light-filled. I am light. And as you hold your heart and feel that beat, as you connect with the divine frequency that is beating through your physical body right now, I want you to feel it. I want you to call in and welcome the divine. I want you to call in and welcome your light. With your eyes closed, I want you to imagine that your light is radiating from your heart out through your body, out into the room, and it is illuminating the room. And it is illuminating the world. It is time to release your light. Can you see that light? Can you see the room illuminated? When we allow ourselves to experience abundant love, there is no place for fear. There is only place for forgiveness, for joy, and for letting go. Release yourself from all that you thought you should be, and love yourself for all that you are. Because you are light. You are divine. You are not defined by what you do or where you go or who you live with. You are defined by the emotions you choose to hold. Let's continue to meditate on love. Allow the images and memories of the people you love and what it feels like to be loved. Allow that frequency to flow through your system. And continue to breathe. Big, releasing breaths. Strong, calm breaths. In a time of unknown, you are the known. In a time of darkness, you are the light. In a time of restrictions, you are infinite. But can you believe it? Can you see it? You are infinitely loved, infinitely forgiven. And now you are infinitely awakened to the true light that is you. Maybe 10 nice deep breaths. Staying aware of that powerful heart that knows only love. Only forgiveness. When you switch to love, there is no shame, there is no fear, there is no guilt. There is no past, there is no future, there is only now. And we breathe. 3 more deep breaths. And we allow the divine to flow through us. We stop resisting. We stop resisting that which we cannot control. We stop resisting that which is. And all that is and all that has to be, we embrace with love and kindness. Knowing whatever path we have to walk, we are the light on that path, and all things are possible. And if your eyes are closed, maybe slowly open them and just watch your candle again, watch that light. And maybe each day this week, you will start your day by taking 3 or 4 minutes to light your light. Release yourself from fear and tension. Embrace love. And now allow yourself to be what you are, not who you think you should be. And the more we stay focused on the moment, we release the need to control, to predict, to understand, and we embrace the moment with kindness and ease, is the more we grow in our ability to tell people that they are loved. Who are the people this week? Who are the people tonight that you want to tell that they're infinitely loved by you regardless? And finally, to finish up, I know there's people on here of many faiths and no faith, and it doesn't really matter what faith we're in, but it is the start of Holy Week, and I'd just like to finish that Holy Week is where Jesus appears as this superstar, and they're throwing palms all over the streets, and he is the hero. But he knows things are changing, because he knows in the week ahead his message is becoming clearer than ever, his truth becoming louder, and he knows he will not bow to fear. He has surrendered the need to be loved by people. He has surrendered the need to fit in. And he has replaced it with a need to speak his truth and be who he needs to be. And he knows that in the short period everything will change. His world and his reality will change. But he knows the one thing that won't change is who he is. He knows that his life will be measured not by its length but by its impact. And he had a mission and a message for the world. And it simply was that every single human being is equal. And every single human being, regardless of what they did, regardless of what sickness, illness they have, they're infinitely, unconditionally loved by the divine. And just by saying those two things, that every human being is equal and everybody is unconditionally loved by the divine, he knew that message was too powerful. And he prepared for the path he must walk. In this Holy Week, allow your light to shine brightly. Allow your truth to be spoken with clarity. And allow love to be your guiding light. We finish with 3 deep breaths. Thank you all for joining me. I hope if you brought somebody on a date, I hope before the date ends you will tell them, I love you with all my heart. And no matter what happens, no matter what job you work at, I will love you with all my heart, all my life. And if tonight ends in love, forgiveness, and even a big hug, what a beautiful thing we've done. You are the light. No matter what lies ahead, you have inside of you everything you need to be happy and to prosper. Thank you so much for joining me. If you enjoy this, please let me know, send me a message. And thank you all for joining. Have a lovely evening. Namaste.